You want to use your phone and find one?
You move this along.
Right, you want to find one to read to the audience?
I can. Let me see how much. 42, that'll do for right now.
And then I'll find one of yours because mine's only at 30 something.
I'm going to go on Reddit and see if I can get something off of No Sleep. r/no sleep. Well, I thought I had the Reddit program. Apparently I don't. I'll just go to it off of my phone.
Well, it's your girl CatDragonLady, and you want to introduce yourself too?
And hello, I'm JagermeisterDreamer from the last time. Well, from last time. And want to finish that?
We're back with some more narrations.
Yep. My first reading is going to be from r/no sleep. I'm just going to read the first one I see. Okay, and I'm not gonna do one that's in parts. All right. The title of this one is Our Camp Counselor Doesn't Have a Shadow. It was Blake that first noticed something was wrong. All of us in cabin 4 were asked, or all of us in cabin 4 were asked to gather firewood for the bonfire. When he nudged me and silently gestured towards Mr. Ambrin, I believe is how you say that. He has no shadow, Ryan, Blake whispered. I looked up at our camp counselor, trying to see if I could see what Blake did. Probably the light, just playing tricks with our eyes, I told him as I settled it. Sorry, y'all.
I'm getting phone calls.
Wait.
Again.
Yeah, so shall we proceed?
Yes, we should.
All right. Probably the light, just playing tricks with your eyes, I told him as I settled down beside Nick. Nah, I think I know what you're talking about. Nick agreed. The two of them scooted a little further away from the fire as the counselor took a seat on the opposite side, smiling in a serene way towards us. Children, I'm so glad you are here to join us tonight. How many have been to camp before? Mr. Ambrin asked. A few boys raised their hand. And how many have been to this camp before? Only a few more volunteered that information. I settled down, listening as the counselor rattled off a few rules and requirements. Nothing that made him sound weird or suspicious. Nothing that made me think Blake and Nick weren't just pulling my leg. We have a tradition here at camp. On the first night, we tell one another our worst fears, our biggest nightmares, Mr. Ambrin explained. That sounded sketchy. It's so that we can put aside our fears and focus on the fun we can have while we're here. Another counselor said, I think her name is Miss Bradley. I could tell as she walked that she definitely had a shadow, but not Mr. Ambrin. Holy shit, my friends were right. But what did that mean? I'll go first if that makes it easier, he said as he settled down across the fire. The way the flames moved up and down amid the air made his facial features look even more frightening. I'm afraid to die. I know that's a big one, but it's definitely scary. And you know what? I'm never going to die, he announced. All of us gave each other a look. Was he serious? All right, let's proceed, shall we? All of us gave each other a look. Was he serious? How are you going to do that? Blake asked. Why am I going to live on in your memories, of course, he announced. It made me draw a breath of relief. He was no different than any of the rest of us. Blake and Nick were just seeing things. All of us went around, sharing our fears, as well as the camp counselors. Listen, the night was falling around us, and only the bonfire kept things illuminated. I kept a close eye on Mr. Ambrin. He definitely was hiding something, but I wasn't sure what. We gave another tradition too. Ghost stories, Miss Bradley announced excitedly. Well, I feel like we have talked a lot. Does anyone have any scary stories to share? All right. Well, I feel like we have talked a lot. Does anyone have any scary stories to share? Mr. Ambrin asked. Nick raised his hand, and I tried to not roll my eyes. I knew what he was going to say before he even said it. Why don't you have an effing shadow? He blurted out. I swear, the whole forest went quiet. The two camp counselors looked at each other in confusion. It was Miss Bradley that spoke up. Nicholas, I suggest you watch your language. That sort of thing won't be allowed here, she explained. Sorry, ma'am, but you gotta tell me you see that. Mr. Ambrin doesn't have a shadow, he shouted. Mr. Ambrin seemed embarrassed about the whole thing, as if we were talking about a medical condition. Then he stood up and placed his hands in his pockets. I'm sorry, but I honestly don't know what you're talking about, Miss Bradley admitted. The other camp counselor made a full 360 circle, as if he was showing off his shadow. As he walked, I couldn't see a thing, and that disturbed me even more. Why was it that we could tell that he didn't have a shadow, but Miss Bradley couldn't? Maybe you should see Dr. Garrison tomorrow, Nicholas, Ambrin suggested. Nick sat back down in confusion. Blake gave him a soft nudge and whispered, I'm sure the adults are just hiding it. Guy is a weirdo. Somehow Ambrin heard him. Well, let's pretend maybe I don't have a shadow. Maybe we can tell a story about that. He sat down, crossed his legs, and gave us this sinister smile, as if he knew we could see his secret, even if adults couldn't. Have you boys ever heard the legend of the Shadow Eaters? He whispered. None of us dared to answer that. It sounded horrible. Oh, that's such an old legend, Phil, Miss Bradley teased. Aye, but Nick's little question reminded me of when we were kids. He gave us a look, his eyes glassy as they could be. You want to hear it? Story goes, it happened at this camp, ages ago, he said. But before he could start the story, The main camp leader announced over the intercom it was lights out or bedtime. He walked over to Nick and squeezed his shoulder. It looked like he squeezed it just a smidge too hard. Come by my office tomorrow. We can figure out what's wrong with your eyes. That night, I could hardly sleep. I thought about the circumstances that led me to this camp. I'm not but 14, just fresh out of middle school, still trying to figure out life. I didn't really believe in monsters or ghosts anymore, but it was hard to ignore what was happening right in front of me. I tried to rationalize it, make it go away, but the weird shadowless counselor did not disappear. My parents said that I needed to straighten up, get back in touch with nature, shit like that. My grades have been slipping, and I'll admit I have been talking to girls and going online and wasting even my dad's paycheck just to gamble it away on microtransactions for mobile games. But none of that mattered now. Something was wrong here, and before the night was over, I would see just how wrong it was. I told myself I shouldn't sleep, just in case something happened. And it's a good thing I didn't, because it was right past 2 a.m. when I heard this loud thud, and then the cabin door creaked open. I turned over on my bunk and looked down at the wooden floor, trying to see who was coming here at this hour. But it wasn't a who. The best way I can describe it is like a slime. Have you ever spilled a jar of jello? The way this stuff moved was exactly like that. It didn't make a single noise as it slowly moved across the floor, but I felt my entire body tense up with fear. It was obvious the stuff was alive. I saw its target, Blake. I knew I should have screamed or said something to wake him up, or maybe distracted the slime, but I was paralyzed with fear, watching as it crept forward and surrounded his bunk on all sides. The black goo slowly formed into a single mass, covering his body. The way that ice might freeze on a lake, Blake immediately began to jerk when I realized what was happening. But that just made the goop speed up. It covered his mouth in a matter of seconds, preventing him from screaming. His body started to make movements of its own, fighting back and writhing like a dying animal, which is exactly what Blake was now. He was no longer the form of a human being. I kept watching as it entered his body, consuming him as a meal, helpless to stop it. What could I have done to save my friend? What did I have that could stop that? All I could do was lay completely still and listen to the sound of his dying. It was over quickly. I thought it was a dream. The slime had gone into his body like a virus and was gone from sight. I kept completely still, waiting for the next strange occurrence, but nothing ever happened. Somehow, perhaps, just from my body being so tense, I fell asleep. When I did wake up, I jumped down to check on Blake. I was sure I would find him dead. I was sure that his corpse would be as stiff as a board. Instead, to my surprise, my friend woke up, his eyes beaming. "Ryan, what's gotten into you?" he asked. It made me wonder if what I had seen was just a fever dream. A short moment later, Mr. Ambrin entered and made a roll call announcement. We'll be headed toward the lake today, and I want to make sure that everyone is accounted for, he said. No one was missing, and it made me reconsider the entire strange nightmare I had experienced. It had felt so real. Very good then, Blake. You'll be the cabin leader today, our counselor announced. I touched my friend's shoulder. His skin felt cold. Are you sure that you're okay? You're okay? I asked him. He pushed past me. I'm fine. You need to chill, he said as he led the group out of the cabin. I almost let my guard down until he went out into the bright morning sun. I started thinking about the warning Blake had given the night before, and I scanned the green grass toward our feet. Mr. Ambrin definitely did not have a shadow at all. I asked Nick briefly as he walked to confirm. Blake was right, he realized. Then I looked toward Blake's feet and felt my blood run cold. Now his shadow was missing as well. So that was story number 1. Got anything in mind that you could read?
Well, I was hoping to use your phone for that too.
Alright, you want to look for something on r/no sleep, or are you wanting to go for creepypasta?
Let me see if I can find something on here.
Alright. You can also look for something on r/let's not meet, because that's got some pretty weird and scary stories too. But yeah, once CatDragonLady gets a bigger audience, she has informed me that she will be taking story requests.
Yep, I sure will.
So definitely watch until the end of this video, and if you liked it, subscribe and turn on notifications.
Here, let me go look for something on creepypasta.
You could have just used Safari. I know it's been a while, but the plus sign, and just go to creepypasta in the search or enter website tab. Having to reteach her how to use an iPhone because her iPhone died for good.
Okay. Which one sounds good to you? Weightless, The Legend of Wide Eyes, I Picked Up a Faceless Hitchhiker, The Stalker, The Hayloft, A Crack in the Dam, Don't Trust the Boy, They Only Take One, or The Malice of Mary Marble. Traveler in the Dark, The Bar at the Edge of Eternity.
Let's see, what was the first one?
Weightless.
Alright, that's up to you to pick because it's your turn.
Well, which one sounds good to you? You know what? Let's try Weightless.
I just hope it's not too long because long stories will really do a number on your vocal cords. That's why I picked something from Reddit, because they usually don't have super long stories.
Well, this one here is pretty long.
But yeah, that one about the no shadow, I gotta say, that's pretty weird, don't you think?
Yeah. Let's see. The Legend of Wide Eyes. Let's see how long it is.
Or you can look up the small-eyed children.
Well, damn, this one's pretty long too.
You know how to search on that? I think you gotta search it on Google though.
What about the hayloft? Well, damn, this one here is long too.
At least you're not trying to read Ben Drown. That one is so long. Even the best narrator had to cut it up into different parts.
I know one.
Which one?
Let's see.
You're gonna have to search Google if you want to search. It's not open.
It's not.
No. Other way. There it is, Google Chrome. Add tab. Yeah. Yeah.
Springtrap isn't.
I don't think so.
It's not long.
Oh, there's actually one called Springtrap. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and put it on here, I guess. I mean, it's your stream.
Okay. This one here is called Springtrap's Revenge. This happened close to a week ago. I'm 28, and this is one of the most horrific experiences of my life. My father worked as a security guard for Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria 3 since he was 22. And I decided that after that place closed down 30 years ago, I would take his place at Fazbear's Frights, the horror attraction. This is just about The horror attraction was just about to open, and they needed me to watch over the place for a few weeks while people passed through the entry through the entire haunted attraction from the north exit and leaving through the south one, which happened to be right next to my office. I heard that there was no animatronics at all in the establishment. The first night from the phone man, whose line of dialogue was as follows. Hey, it's me, the phone guy. Welcome to Fazbear Frights, the horror attraction. And you're here to watch the security cameras and make sure no one comes in and these two words have been removed. In the dark corner of the place, there is no animatronics walking around here tonight. Like you might know, happened in the last establishments. So your night tonight is going to be pretty easy. Have a good time. He hung up the phone. It turned out that the phone man was right. By the time 6 a.m. came along, I was able to leave the establishment calmly. But the thought of walking animatronics kept popping up in my head. Night 2. Phone man called me again, saying something along the lines of, hey, welcome back. It's so good to be here with you. I have some awesome news for you. You ain't gonna believe this. We found an animatronic. A real animatronic. You better watch out. I think his name is Springtrap. And he isn't in a good mood. Keep an eye out on that ventilation. Check the cameras and play audio to distract the Springy Boy from getting to you. Anyways, if you do that, you should be golden. As you might think, I'll say, have a nice night. See you on the flip side. Right away, I felt unnerved. Who was Springtrap? What does Phone Man mean? A real animatronic. Are there some kids of ghosts living here? I'm really nervous. Anyway, I kept the progress. Eventually leaving being again once 6 a.m. came around. Everything changed on night 3. You can probably get where this is going.
Just read forward.
Phone Man once again called me. His line of dialogue was much different, other than one thing. Springtrap is more aggressive tonight and wants anyone he sees dead. Oh no, I thought to myself. Springtrap's mad. I hope there's some kind of door for me to close right away. I did notice a door button on the wall next to the doorway. I pressed it. A giant door slid down from the wall. And right away, heard banging on the door after closing it. Is that Springtrap? I didn't know. I lifted the monitor panel and saw the most horrifying thing I ever seen before. A giant rabbit animatronic thingamajigger in his face right in the monitor screen. Eyeball visible up close. Sanal, horrified, I pulled the monitor down. The Springtrap creature thing walked to the window in front of me and pointed his finger at me. I was too scared to do anything and just kept staring at it until it walked away. I was relieved until I checked the vent camera and saw Springtrap in it. Right away I sealed the vent, but not before getting a look at the macabre and horrific thing crawling in the vent. Springtrap was a dark green creature with many ribs and holes in his body. And opening his mouth, there was what appeared to be a man's head. How come I've never seen that before? Is it someone wearing a suit? Trying to mess with me? I doubt it, given that the man's head didn't move an inch. I was skeptical that he was trying to mess with me. I toggled the camera map and looked around for the other animatronics, finding nothing but a whole bunch of broken down relics of old animatronics. That is until I hit Camp 8. When I saw some kind of puppet creature, which suddenly appeared just before my eyes. Even though I kept trying to look away from it, it wouldn't let me take its eyes off of it. It finally disappeared, and I took the opportunity to blink a few times. Eventually 6 a.m. came around, and as I walked out to the exit, I saw Springtrap standing right in front of the door. I screamed so loud. I screamed as loud as I could. He tried to grab me now, but I managed to kick the robot in the crotch before I ran for it. Looking behind me, I saw the thing chasing me. I managed to escape safely before the creature could get me. with only a few seconds to spare. Night 4 was very hectic. Phone man once again called me, and none of his dialogues was anything new before I started hearing loud footsteps coming from the background of the call. Phone man asked, "Who's there?" before hearing a blood-curdling scream. And then what sounded like some kind of dark, demonic voice saying, "Once I finish up with this, you want to say it?"
No. Once I finish up with this effing A.
You're in big trouble. Before the call closed, I was horrified at what may have happened. Phantom Puppet once again appeared after accidentally triggering it to appear, or when I was flipping through the monitors and saw it. The same stage is repeated until it once again disappeared. In that time, Springtrap was standing right in the doorway to my office, peering in. I tried closing the door on him, but he managed to lift the door. Horrified, I jumped into the vent as he walked into the office, grabbing my leg before I could fully make it through the vent, and telling me there was no escape. I grabbed my phone, turned the flash on, taking a picture of the beast to blind him. I seized the opportunity to escape, Springtrap's grasp, and run through the vents, running around the wall, back to the doorway, and push the door button to close it, and Springtrap in the office. It was seemingly successful, but Springtrap managed to escape through the vents after me and eventually catch me, telling me it was a good try, but not good enough. I will kill you and take my revenge against you for what you did to me last night. I panicked and told him he wouldn't do anything. Springtrap was truly a big brute. He was like a full head taller than me, and his feet weren't covered by plastic fur, instead of being wedge-shaped pieces of bare metal attached to the rest of his legs via an endoskeleton leg. He pulled the suit head up, revealing the head of the man I saw, and I screamed when I saw the horror in the man's face. Springtrap then closed his head, telling me that the man he just showed me was deceased. Horrified, I tried running from Springtrap, knowing he was taller, and that he stuffed the corpse of his victims into his body. That's at least what I thought. However, he grabbed me. He grabbed my ankle, telling me I can't escape him, and that he doesn't stuff his body with his victims, but instead, the one man inside of his body was killed inside the suit while wearing it due to a malfunction of the spring locks. I ran back through the vents after kicking at Springtrap sealed the vent, and kept the door closed. To the Green Rabbit, Deuce Furry, 6 was thankfully not that far off at the time of the attack. However, so shortly after, I saved myself from Springtrap's grasp, and I was able to leave safely. Night 5 was the most nightmarish. Thankfully, though, it was the last night I was going to be there. After walking in, the phone man didn't call me this time. I was worried about what happened to him, but I had much more to worry about than just that. A freakish looking version of Freddy Fazbear was seen walking by the window. I watched in astonishment as it passed along, then ducked down before it suddenly reappeared in front of me. It scared the blinking daylights out of me. I fell back unconscious, seeing looking at the phantom version of Freddy as a huge mistake. I woke up moments later seeing a phantom Foxy the pirate now standing in the office. And being smart, I looked away and blinked. Just like that, it was gone. It couldn't it couldn't have been real. I was hallucinating. However, for now I had to recover the ventilation system thing in the maintenance panel I saw. And I did without hesitation, fearing what would happen if I didn't. Springtrap was nowhere visible in any of the cameras though. Checking the vent cameras, he wasn't in there either. Looking through all of the cameras one more time to clarify seeing what I was seeing correctly. I really didn't see Springtrap at all. Just like that, everything in the building suddenly went dark and silent. I mean, the power and the horror attraction just shut out. I checked I checked the now much darker cameras for any signs of Springtrap there, but still didn't see him. Am I going crazy? Just a quick note. This was at the time I was running on 7 hours of sleep. I had slept all day, and seeing that the power was out and Springtrap was apparently missing, I decided to close the door barricade and the vent and go to sleep. Unfortunately, though, that was a stupid idea. Springtrap somehow managed to get into the office and drag me out with him while I was crashed out. I know that Springtrap kidnapped me because I woke up in some other random room, which soon happened to be the north exit. And Springtrap was standing in front of me telling me that I should consider myself lucky that I'm still alive. I'm still afraid to think about what that meant because Springtrap never said anything about it. Springtrap then turned around, and when his back was turned, I prepared to take the opportunity to sneak out past him and out the door. I tried pushing and pulling it open. Neither worked. Springtrap locked the door. I ran down. Thankfully, Springtrap never checked my pockets because my keys to the place were in them. Springtrap didn't notice me having escaped his grasp, but he managed to locate and approach me quickly. I ran down the hallway, Springtrap close behind me. Just about touching me, I managed to unlock and open the south exit door quick enough for me to run out of it. Slamming it shut behind me, I locked the door right afterwards, got in my car, and sped down the roads to the police station where I was reported the entire incident and gave the exact description of what happened. I guided the police to the establishment, gave them the keys, and they unlocked it. And as they drew their flashlights and guns, investigating the dark horror attraction, as I followed them, the smell was horrible in the establishment, and I noticed something off. I saw a saluted running past the doorway we were in front of, and I shouted for the cops to come look. We all found and cornered Springtrap in the corners, and he pulled up the mask once again, revealing the dead man inside of him. Springtrap pulled his mask back down and told us that the man inside his suit was dead, and that all of us were about to be as well. He whistled, and a phantom version of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, the chicken, Foxy, a young boy animatronic, a broken version of Foxy, and the puppet thing I saw appeared in a circle around us. The cops and I all swore under our breaths, "Oh crap," as Springtrap ordered them to attack. And they did. I was knocked out of all of that. And I was knocked out as all that could be heard was the shouts of pain, gunshots, and ghostly noises as Springtrap screamed and ordered the phantoms to keep attacking the cops. As he did the same thing. The next morning, I found myself awake in my bed at home. I was confused as to how I ended up there. But it didn't matter because I was out of that. Heck.
Hell isn't a bad word.
Well, hell. I eventually found out that Freddy Fazbear's Frights was burned down to the ground. And I was more than relieved. Springtrap was never found, though. And nothing was ever heard from the phone man, or whatever his real name is. It still pains me at knowing that thing is still out there. All the phantoms were also gone with Springtrap. None of that crap really matters, though. They won't make it get far before they run out of power. How'd you like that one?
That was good.
And of course, Courtney.
Guten Tag.
Well, Courtney, let me know what you like about that one.
If you're even listening.
Yeah, if you're even watching now. So, we're going to tell you the same thing, Courtney. I am planning on doing a... You guys can tell me which story you want to hear. Me and my brother will look it up. And we can watch together. Courtney! Did you not hear the story, Springtrap's Revenge?
Apparently not. She just approached when you were finishing up.
What? Courtney! Well, that's okay, because you can go back, listen to both stories again. That way you can have a little catching up to do.
We're going to test you.
Yep.
When we see you again.
Twilight. Courtney, I am... Okay, did you not get the title of this? My channel is for horror stories. Not vampires or anything like that, like Twilight. Twilight's not even scary.
It's not even an actual story online.
Of course not.
Well, it is, but you have to pay for it.
No kidding.
So unless you, Courtney, are willing to pay my sister whatever you owe her for the book or whatever Twilight on either Google Play Store or whatever else.
Google Books.
We can't read it.
Yeah, we can't read it. And another thing is Twilight is too long for my channel. Why think I was reading Springtrap's Revenge?
And I just read a short no sleep story on r/no sleep on Reddit.
Yeah, so if you want to, Courtney, you can go back and watch all of those. Feel free to. Because I can guarantee you on this one, girl, you will not sleep tonight after hearing both these stories.
I will let you know, Courtney, if you're still here watching.
What about Scream? Don't you mean Scream?
No, I think Scream is a story, but I think It's another one you have to buy.
Probably. But, Courtney, like I said, my channel is horror stories. I don't know any scary stories.
Well, look some up.
Yeah, look some up. You can look them up on Google. Scary stories.
Like creepypasta, r/no sleep on Reddit, or even r/let's not mate on Reddit as well.
Yes. But the one I just got done reading was called Springtrap's Revenge. If you want to, you can tell me which Five Nights at Freddy's story you want me to read, and I'll find it.
I do believe, I think I can copy this. Copy. Let me go to your channel. And we'll put these links to these stories in the description. Or actually, better yet, so I don't have to just get that up. Yeah, I'll have to edit this. We'll edit this afterwards.
Yeah, Scream. She meant Scream.
Okay.
Okay, Courtney. We can probably try to find Scream for you. Well, I got to go talk to you later.
All right.
All right, Courtney. You can call me if you want to.
I think she's about to end the stream.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to end the Scream. But let me say one more thing to you. If you want me to read you something, just pop into my channel and I'll read you something. Just request a story for me.
Because if she doesn't get the job, she's going to be doing a lot of narrations.
I will be doing a lot of narrations and all of that. All right?
I think she left.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean shit.
Of course not. Well, I hope you guys love my channel. I meant. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And I hope you guys have a good night.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. CatDragonLady out.